Who am I? It's taken me all my life to realise who I am and who I was. At birth I was given the name Raymond, and then as time went on that changed to the name Rayo as a nickname. And then finally the big name came when I was Ray Phillips, the drummer with Budgie. And as painful as it was growing up, when I look back I have to realise certain facts. I come from a broken home. And it played a big part in my life, made my life a bit harder than it would have normally been. So when I was 12 years old, I'd run away from home. Not a very nice time. And I remember everything that I went through as that 12-year-old child. Lots of children gone through the same thing. Basically, it was hurtful and painful. And at the age of 16, my mother was a nurse, as was my sister Pat. And my mother asked me, what would you like for Christmas, son? When I was 16, I said, a set of drums. So she bought me a set of drums. I had the drums, I got on the drums, and I played them. I didn't have to learn to play, I just played them. And all I had to do was get better. I was living the dream before I even met Burke Shelley. I played to everybody, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Shadows, you name it, I played to them. And then one day there was a knock on my door, and I went to the door, opened up, and there was Burke Shelley with his Budgie Holly glasses on. And he told me he's looking for a drummer. Would I be interested? I said yes. And I joined up with Burke then with the band he had then, Hills Contemporary Grass. We had Kevin the guitarist, Brian Goddard the guitarist, and Burke on bass and myself on drums. I'm always thankful of what my mother did for me. That set of drums cost my mother £100 in 1968, 67, 68. A lot of money in those days. She bought them because she knew she'd have long to live. My mother altered my life, my path, trajectory, changed it because of my mother.
Cheers, thank you very much.
So Budgie was born. And alongside Budgie we had a chappie called Howard Coates. And Howard, we referred to Howard as our manager. And he'd do all the driving. And I spoke all Howard. I liked all Howard. Anyway, the band has now come together as Budgie. And we went through all sorts of songs. We learned Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. We've done lots and lots of different bands. Lots of music. Which slowly developed the Budgie sound. And Burke, he had a lot of numbers in the back of his mind that he'd been working on. Bread Fan, Parents, In the Grip of Tide, Fit His Hand, all sorts of numbers. And obviously the stuff from the first 2 albums. And we spent a lot of time rehearsing. And the day came when we were given a record deal. The band moved into another world. Then all of a sudden, this is where I become Ray Phillips, drummer of Budgie. As Burke was Burke Shelley, the bass player for Budgie and singer, and Tony Borge was the guitarist for Budgie. So things started moving along. And as a result of my upbringing, I had to prove to myself I was worth more than I was taught in school. And I always decided I would go forward. Henceforth, I become quite a thinking forward type of person, and I would push things forward. Sometimes I've done things in a really nice way. Sometimes I turn around and say, well, that's the way I want to do it. That's where it's got to go.
To me like a dream in the night, and he told me what to do. He said, try to make someone happy, try to make them smile, try to help them on their way, if it's only for a while. I said, Lord, I don't have money. He said, well, I don't care. You bless with a real kind heart, that's what you got to share. So try to make someone happy, try to make them smile, try to help them on their way, if it's only for a while. There are saints out there doing what they do. There are saints out there ready to do the best for you, yeah. And as I walk along, I see somebody laying there. So I stopped and sat by him, told him that I really care. And as he looked at me, a smile came on his face. So I helped him to his feet, I took him to a warmer place. I bought him a coffee, then I bought him a meal. Then he put his arms around me, said, "This is how I feel." You made me happy, you made me smile, you helped me on my way, if only for a little while. There are saints out there doing what they do. There are saints out there, I want to do the best for you, yeah. So try to make someone happy, try to make them smile, try to help them on their way, if only for a little while.
I left Budgie. It took me a couple of years to put another band together, and the guitarists that come in with us was my mates at here now, John Ned Edwards, Ned for short. Ned was the first guitarist. Ned went on to do 7 years with Van Morrison. He's a bit humble and he's a bit shy sometimes, but outside that he's okay. So here we are. Hello, Ned.
When I first met you, you put an advert in the South Wales Echo at the time. I was a resident guitar player in a band, resident in this real mad club in Cardiff called the Moon Club.
Yeah, the Moon.
Famous club. It was all full of bloody prostitutes and Hells Angels and real mad resident on a Thursday and Friday. I sat in, getting a bit tired of doing the same old stuff. And you put an advert in the paper saying, what did? Idiot. Who can play guitar? Who play for next to nothing? They were like sleeping in vans. So I don't know, I'll apply for that. So I remember ringing you up. I remember my dad, because I couldn't drive at the time, my dad took me up and I met you in the old pub in Trinity called The Tread. You turned up in your white suit.
Looking like a knob.
Not looking like Dr. Kildare. With a briefcase. Like imported. My dad, remember my dad lurking in the background because he was embarrassed to turn up with my father, you know.
Yeah.
And then you said blah blah blah, you were with Budgie and all that, and then we got together.
Not many people know that Ned is an authority on blues music and blues musicians. And he's spent most of his life in music, studying all this stuff. That's how he ended up with Van Morrison. After Woman, had disappeared. Then you joined up with Van Morrison, but then you've done stuff with everybody. Bo Diddley, all sorts of
I've been
people.
really lucky,
What was that like?
It was for me such a buzz to play because I was always been into blues and black music, and to actually play with like a real legend. I was mostly, we do like a little set on our own, and I was singing and fronting the band. And then when we backed him up, then I just played. Because we had Graham Williams used to play with racing cars, top Welsh guitar, lovely bloke as well. Yeah. He's playing guitar, and Bo obviously playing guitar. So I was playing mostly harmonica. I remember thinking I used to do that song of his. I think I was playing some Bo Diddley's stuff this morning, and that he's in a song called "I'm Man" that Muddy Waters done. Bam, 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 bam. You know that one, you know. I remember playing a harmonica on that note, you know, bam, 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 and then again, I was get such a buzz from playing, like actually playing with the real deal, you know. Yeah. And of course we toured with him for about 3 months. And he's coming out travelling in a van with us and tell us stories about Chicago. And some of the gigs then, because he's on the road all night, you just go through the motions, you know. Yeah. It's just another gig to him, he didn't know where we were or wherever it was. He was just going through the motions on this particular gig, and somebody shouted out, "Muddy Waters!" Muddy Waters had just passed. He goes, "Speaking of Muddy Waters," he said, "when I was a young kid in Chicago, man," he said, if you didn't play like Muddy, man, you wouldn't get no gigs." He said, I go and walk into an agent's office, a manager's office. "Hey, man," he said, "can you got any gigs, man?" He said, "You play like Muddy?" He said, "No, man, I do nothing." He said, "Step outside, dude." Right, I was telling me stories about Chicago and about these legends, you know. It was just, and he said, and this, a typical British audience, when he said that, the guy in the audience shouted out, "Bullshit!" He said, "It ain't bullshit, man." He said, "I went to school, I didn't walk past it."
Early this morning, when you knocked upon my door, early this morning, when you knocked upon my door, I said, "Hello, Satan, I believe it's time to go." Walking side by side, me and the devil was walking side by side. I'm gonna be my lady till I get satisfied. You don't sleep well when it's dark all around. Well, don't sleep well when it's dark all around. My spirit, all evil spirit, way deep down in the ground. When I die, bury me beside the highway side. Well, when I die, bury me beside the highway side. So my all evil spirit can catch a ghastly get bustin' right.
One, two, three, four.
Now I worked hard, but what have I got? I worked hard, I ain't got a lot. I worked hard, but you don't know. I worked in places where devils wouldn't go. It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard. Oh yeah. It's been hard. Yes it is. It's been hard. You don't something else that you don't know. I played in places where snakes wouldn't go. It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard. Oh, so hard. And it's been hard. You don't know. I've been in places where snakes wouldn't go. Oh, so hard. Over, under, sideways, down. Ain't no slower, don't put me down. Slip, and slide, whatever you like. Oh, tonight, I worked hard for what I have got. Let me tell you something, boy, I ain't got a lot. Let me tell you something else that you don't know. I climb mountains where a goat wouldn't go. It's been hard. 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 You don't know. I climb mountains where a goat wouldn't go. Oh, so hard. Yeah, yeah. One, two, three, four, 5, 6.
So anyway, I done a gig in Tredegar Workman's on a Wednesday night. It was called The Kiddies. And these girls walked in, about 4 or 5 girls, and Carol was one of them. And when I seen her, I thought, that's the girl I'm marrying. Now, well, come the end of the night, she walked out with the friends, but she kept looking back at me. So what I done was, with another guy from the van, we went backstage, out the back door, run right down the building, right round the building, down the stairs, come right round the front, and when Carol walked out, I was sitting in the van, waiting for her. And so I called her, I beckoned him over, come here, come here, come here. Over they came. And I said, I asked the girl the name, I asked Carol her name last. Yeah. And then I said, well, how old are you? She said, I'm 17. We give her a lift home. Walked up the mountain, up Pentoyne, and she kept pushing into me, which was lovely. And then when we got up to the house then, I kissed her, I gave her a kiss, and her father come out. And then I ran down the mountain, sorted. And that was 52 years ago.
fans holds Budgie in high regard. What do you think was the major issues holding Budgie back from becoming more popular and famous?
When we started out with me and Burke, we met Tony. When we got together, it just happened. And I guess for a lot of people, you have to say for other bands, I had a set of drums. I wanted to be the best drummer in the world. Burke wanted to be the best bass player in the world, and Tony wanted to be the best guitarist. That's how we worked. But we didn't think of it like that. Do you know what? We just enjoyed ourselves so much.
Okay, Ray, the next question from Aaron. He wants to know, why didn't you continue with Roger Bain? And were you happy the way the first 3 albums turned out?
Well, that's not a good one, Aaron. That's not a good one. When we met Roger Bain, our world changed. It was excellent. We were in the place. We couldn't believe our luck. The first album, in the end, was come out brilliant. When we did the second album, Squawk, Roger Bain came to the studio again. Great, no problem at all. And he brought an engineer called Tom Allen. That was a mistake. We didn't understand that till the time we look back. But he wasn't good for the band. So, when we finally finished the second album, Squawk, we had to go back in the studio and redo the mixing of Squawk. That was without Roger Bain. The record company sent us back and said, this isn't up to the job. Different engineer, but Roger Bain was there. So we had half of Roger Bain's work, right? Then the bass end, the mixing and the engineering, if you like, was down to me, Burke and Tony, expressing to this other engineer who worked for the studio what we wanted. And I remember on doing the third album, it was getting a bit stressful being in the studio, right? Because my ideas and Burke's ideas were going in a bit of a different direction. Right? And I always look back, and I come out of that, I did the third album, there was a few rows of the band, and I was out, which was all right. To now, we got to that place where we wanted to get to, but we didn't realise it until the biggest bands in the world started talking about us and recording our songs. And so much so, in Wales, for the world to know, when we have the Rugby World Cups, now they play Bread Fan at the beginning of a few of those Rugby World Cups. That's a big deal, a really big deal. Metallica played Bread Fan at so many openings to their festivals. I've seen them, and it was a big deal. So I think it's fair to say we've done really well.
Tom, the next question is for you, also from Aaron. He says he always thought of Tredegar as a hair band, and he wants to know if you thought so as well. And he also wants to know what you thought of the album when it was finished.
Well, the album was, I think that was actually absolutely excellent album. Turned out really well. With regard to the hair band, well, there was a lot of funny hair going in the band at the time. There's a lot of hairspray and stuff going on there, and perms and things, and makeup, but I'm not quite sure whether we were glamorous enough to be glam rockers.
Well, all I've got to say to that is, there wasn't that much hairspray, there wasn't that much glam. What did happen was, all these bands come along, they call them metal bands. When Budgie took off, because of Metallica, everyone referred to Budgie as a metal band. We were never a metal band. When I was in Budgie, it was simply a rock band. And when we went down the road, ripped jeans, Budgie had them before anyone else. Budgie status quo. So we come around this place, and the problem is fashion changes, and you try to keep up with the fashion to get a bit more publicity, if you like. Well, we made that much of a mistake, and then we got rid of it all. We were back to normal men in a rock band.
the holy place. God needs you now. Oh yeah. Tell your brothers and your sisters too. Tell all the children God loves you. Has a smile upon his face. Send you love with his living rays. God loves you now. Yes, he do. Ain't that the truth? I walked along this winding road. I walked along, I had this load. Then one day, fell to my knees. When I looked up, who could I see? It was St. Christopher looking down on me. Took me by the hand, held me to my feet. He had a smile upon his face. Come with me to the holy place. God needs you now. Yes, ain't that the truth? God loves you now. Oh yeah.
It was, it is all about the music.